I stared at the red handprint blooming across my daughter's cheek, the broken strap of her little crossbody bag dangling like a surrender flag. Victoria Blackwood, my mother-in-law, stood in her private showroom, nostrils flaring, still clutching her precious Birkin as if my 9-year-old had tried to steal it rather than simply admire it. "You will teach that child to keep her hands to herself." Victoria spat, her perfect French manicure gleaming as she stroked the bag's leather. "These are collector's items, not toys for common children to paw at." Lily's tears fell silently. She'd learned early that her grandmother hated noise almost as much as she hated unfortunate breeding, as she called my middle-class background. She barely touched it. I kept my voice level, though my hands shook. She was just looking. Looking leads to touching. Touching leads to wanting, and wanting leads to expectations above one's station. Victoria's voice dripped acid honey. Better she learns now that some things aren't meant for everyone. 5 years of these digs about my background, about my daughter's unfortunate inheritance of my traits rather than her precious son James's elite genetics. 5 years of watching her treat my child like an unwanted intruder in her pristine world of luxury retail. Children shouldn't be around valuable items, I'd once overheard her telling a client. Especially children without proper breeding. They don't understand the value of things. Lily clutched her broken bag closer, the designer logo now split down the middle. It was her pride and joy, bought with her own allowance savings, though Victoria didn't know that. She assumed I picked it up at some discount store. "I can fix it," Lily whispered, fingering the tear. "Hardly," Victoria sniffed. "Quality items require quality care. Not that you'd understand, given your background." I bit back my response. Soon, very soon, she would learn exactly what this public school teacher had been doing while she was busy collecting handbags and contempt. "We need to go, Victoria," I reminded her. "The boutique's anniversary celebration starts in 2 hours. Her 25th anniversary gala, the crown jewel of the luxury retail calendar in our city. The night when all of high society gathered to praise her exquisite taste and exclusive collections. This year marked her silver jubilee as owner." "Yes, yes," she waved dismissively. "Though I don't know why you're attending. The guest list is rather selective." "James would have wanted us there," I said quietly. That shut her up, as it always did. Her precious son, the surgeon who disappointed her by marrying a teacher, then devastated her by dying and leaving his inheritance to us instead of her. What she didn't know was that James had left us much more than money. "Very well," she sniffed. "But do something about that child's appearance. I can't have her looking like what we were. Common, ordinary, beneath her." After she clicked away in her Louboutins, I helped Lily change into her gala outfit, a designer piece that would make Victoria choke if she knew we owned it. "Remember what Daddy used to say?" I asked as I dried her tears. "Money can buy nice things, but it can't buy class," she recited softly. "That's right, and tonight, we're going to see who really has class." Lily gave me a knowing look. She'd seen the papers I'd signed last month, had watched me in late-night meetings with the boutique's board of directors. She might be 9, but she wasn't blind to what was coming. "Will Grandma be mad?" she asked, touching her bruised cheek. "Grandma will be educated," I assured her. Sometimes people need to learn important lessons about value. At the boutique's grand showroom 2 hours later, Victoria was holding court. She floated between social clusters, accepting compliments about her impeccable taste, her exclusive collections, her 25 years of elevating local fashion. If only they knew how she really treated people she considered beneath her. "Sarah, darling," she air-kissed my cheeks when we arrived. "I'm shocked you made the guest list. And Lily, well, at least the bruise isn't too visible." Lily stood straight-backed, her outfit probably worth more than Victoria thought I made in a year. She didn't recognize the brand. She'd never expect us to own it. "We wouldn't miss it," I smiled. "Especially not tonight's announcements." Her perfectly threaded eyebrows drew together. "Announcements? The only announcement is my anniversary speech." "Oh? The board didn't tell you about the ownership transition?" For a fraction of a second, panic flashed across her Botoxed features. "What ownership transition?" "I'm sure it will all be clear during your speech," I said smoothly. "Lily and I have front row seats." "Front row? Those are for VIP clients only." "Yes," I agreed. "They are." Leaving her sputtering, I guided Lily to our table. directly in front of the podium where Victoria would soon deliver her speech. The speech she'd spent months preparing, detailing her legacy in luxury retail. A legacy that was about to undergo a dramatic makeover. Mrs. Blackwood, Marcus, the board secretary, approached with a folder. Everything's prepared for the announcement. Victoria, across the room, watched this exchange with growing confusion. She'd never seen Marcus bring me documents before. Never seen me sign anything official. Never imagined I could. Perfect, I said, taking the folder. And the security footage? Queued up and ready. Lily squeezed my hand under the table. She knew what was coming. We discussed it as a family, just as James and I had planned it before his death. Would she hit me again? She whispered. No, sweetheart, I promised. After tonight, she won't be hitting anyone ever again. Victoria stepped up to the podium, ready to begin her carefully crafted speech about her dedication to luxury and exclusivity. She had no idea she was about to learn that treating people like they're worthless comes with a very high price tag. Sometimes the best revenge isn't showing people how powerful you are, it's letting them show everyone who they really are first. Victoria tapped the crystal podium, her diamond rings catching the light as she surveyed her audience of elite clients and socialites. Behind her, a massive screen waited to display her curated slideshow of 25 years of excellence in luxury retail. Distinguished guests, she began, her voice dripping with cultivated sophistication. Welcome to our Silver Jubilee celebration. As we commemorate 25 years of my dedication to bringing only the finest luxury goods. Right on cue, the screen behind her flickered. Instead of her planned presentation, security footage began playing silently. There she was slapping my daughter, her venomous words captioned for all to see. Victoria, focused on her note cards, didn't notice at first, but the horrified gasps from the audience made her turn around. What is this? She demanded. Turn that off immediately. Please continue, Victoria. I stood up. Tell us more about your dedication to fine things and finer people. The footage changed to other incidents, Victoria mocking customers she deemed too common to shop in her store, forcing staff to follow people she thought looked poor, making my daughter use the service entrance because she wasn't refined enough for the main door. This is, she sputtered. Child abuse, I suggested. Class discrimination? Or just another day at your exclusive boutique? The room erupted in whispers. Several VIP clients stood up, their faces flushed with anger. I demand to know who authorized this, Victoria's voice cracked. That would be me. I walked to the podium, the new owner of Lux Avenue Boutique. The silence that followed was absolute. Victoria's face went from rosy to ashen in seconds. Impossible, she breathed. You're nothing. A teacher James married against my wishes. A teacher who helped her husband invest very wisely, I corrected. While you were collecting handbags, Victoria, James and I were collecting something far more valuable, evidence of your true character. James would never. James did. Every share purchase, every board appointment, every detail was planned before his death. He just hoped you'd learn humanity on your own first. Lily joined me at the podium, her cheeks still bearing a faint red mark. Daddy said true luxury isn't about what you own, she said clearly. It's about how you treat people. Victoria staggered back as if Lily's words had physically struck her. The footage behind her showed her latest cruelty, playing on an endless loop. As the new owner, I continued, I'm making immediate changes. First, this boutique will serve anyone who can afford our products, regardless of their background. Several board members nodded approvingly. Second, any form of discrimination or abuse will result in immediate termination. No exceptions. You can't. Victoria started. I can, and I am. Your position here is terminated, effective immediately. And your private collection? I smiled. It's being donated to a fashion museum in the public school district. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Some clients actually applauded. Marcus, I called to the board secretary. Please escort Mrs. Blackwood to her office to collect her personal belongings. Security will supervise. Victoria stood frozen, her perfectly curated world crashing around her designer heels. Why'd she whispered? Why humiliate me like this? The same reason you humiliated my daughter, to teach a lesson about worth. I met her eyes. The difference is she didn't deserve her humiliation. You earned yours. One of her socialite friends tried to intervene. "This is outrageous. Victoria has given 25 years of abuse and discrimination." I cut in. "Would you like to see more footage?" Perhaps when she told a cancer survivor her headscarf wasn't boutique appropriate. The woman sat down quickly. Marcus appeared with a box for Victoria's belongings. "Your keys and security pass, Mrs. Blackwood." Her hands shook as she removed them from her Birkin. "And if I refuse to leave quietly, then the full security footage goes to every media outlet in the city." I smiled. "I'm sure they'd love to hear about your innovative customer service approach." She sank into a chair, 25 years of superiority finally crumbling. James knew. All this time, he knew what I was. He knew, I confirmed. He just hoped he'd remember that true value isn't in what you sell. It's in how you treat people. Lily touched her broken bag. "Can we fix my bag now, Mama? The real one, not the one Grandma thinks I have." "Yes, sweetheart, we'll fix everything." I turned to the assembled guests. "Thank you all for coming. The boutique's new mission statement and client policies will be distributed shortly. We hope you'll continue shopping with us, where everyone is welcome, regardless of their background." Behind us, Victoria began gathering her belongings, her perfect world reduced to a cardboard box of luxury catalogs and framed awards that suddenly meant nothing. Sometimes the best lessons about worth come from those we treated as worthless. As we left, Lily looked back at her grandmother. "Will she be okay, Mama?" "That depends on what she learns from this," I answered honestly. Sometimes people need to lose everything to understand what really matters. And sometimes I thought, watching Victoria clutch her empty Birkin bag, the most expensive lesson is the one that teaches us we're worth more than the price tags we wear. The transformation of both Lux Avenue and Victoria Blackwood over the next 6 months surprised everyone, especially those who'd watched her fall from grace. Initially, Victoria retreated to her mansion, emerging only to shop at competing boutiques where she'd loudly criticize our new common approach. But when those stores, fearing association with her now viral behavior, began politely turning her away, she found herself facing an unfamiliar reality: exclusion. The turning point came through, of all things, a damaged handbag. "I need help," she called one evening, her voice missing its usual imperial tone. "My vintage bag is torn, and no other boutique will touch it." I could have turned her away. Part of me wanted to. Instead, I said, "Bring it in. Our new restoration specialist is excellent." The Victoria who arrived after hours was barely recognizable. Her designer outfit was wrinkled, her makeup imperfect, and her eyes held something I'd never seen before: desperation. Our restoration specialist, Maria, someone Victoria would once have dismissed as the help, examined the bag with expert hands. "I can fix this," Maria said, "but it will take time and special care." "I'll pay anything." Victoria reached for her wallet. "Actually," I interrupted, "we have a new program. People can learn restoration skills in exchange for services." "Learn? You mean work here?" She looked around the boutique she'd once ruled, now transformed into a welcoming space where luxury met accessibility. "With the public? Handle beautiful things. Learn to restore them. Share your knowledge." I held her gaze. "Your choice." Something shifted in her perfectly maintained facade. I know quite a bit about vintage pieces." What followed was what the staff called the education of Victoria Blackwood. The woman who once wouldn't let common people touch her merchandise spent weeks learning restoration techniques alongside people she previously snubbed. "Your grandmother actually helped me today," Maria told Lily. "She knows amazing things about vintage bags." And she smiled, a real smile. Lily, showing more grace than her grandmother ever had, started visiting the boutique's restoration workshop after school. She'd watch the repairs, learning about craftsmanship, while Victoria worked nearby. One day, I overheard Lily ask her, "Why did you hit me, Grandma?" Victoria set down her tools, hands trembling. "Because I was afraid," she admitted softly. "Afraid that if people like you could have nice things, they wouldn't be special anymore. I was wrong. So wrong. About the bags. About everything." She touched Lily's cheek gently. "The things I valued weren't what made me special. They just made me mean." The real breakthrough came during our first public restoration workshop. A young woman brought in her mother's worn handbag, not designer, but deeply loved. The old Victoria would have sneered. The new Victoria spent hours teaching her how to restore it. The love in that bag is worth more than any logo, she said afterward, watching a woman leave clutching her restored treasure. Later that evening, as we closed up, Victoria lingered behind. I've been thinking, she said quietly, about my collection. Oh, yes, I'd like to use it differently, for teaching, showing people how to appreciate and care for beautiful things, regardless of their price tag. I studied her face, looking for any trace of her old superiority. Found none. That's a generous offer, I said carefully, but it would mean sharing your precious pieces with common people. Beauty isn't common or uncommon, she replied, catching a restored vintage clutch. It's just beautiful, like my granddaughter's smile. Lily, who'd been pretending not to listen, hugged her grandmother. For the first time ever, Victoria hugged back without checking if her clothes would wrinkle. Does this mean you'll teach me about bags too? Lily asked. Better, Victoria smiled. I'll teach you about value, real value. She looked at me uncertainly. If that's allowed. I nodded, watching decades of barriers dissolve. I think that's exactly what this place needs. As we locked up that night, Lily held up her restored bag, the one Victoria had broken months ago. Look, Mama, sometimes broken things come back stronger. Yes, I agreed, watching Victoria gather her tools rather than her status symbols. And sometimes people do too. The boutique's lights dimmed behind us, but the future gleamed brighter than any designer logo ever could. In the end, it wasn't about handbags or status or even revenge. It was about learning that true luxury isn't what you own. It's who you become when no one's watching your labels.